Welcome into the TGI Friday edition of the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller on August 26th. Thank you so much for being here. I did something cool yesterday on Wednesday night, Wednesday evening. I had a reading with the incomparable Robert Hand. One of our readers, Laura Taft, had a reading with him a while back, and she said she saw that he was running a little sale on his Facebook page, and she said, hey, you ought to jump on that. And I did, and glad I did. So thank you, Laura, for that. You know, I learned astrology basically from studying that interactive chart on Astro.com, and Robert Hand was one of the two interpretations on Astro.com's chart. It's something he probably wrote, I don't know, long time ago, but this is a guy that got a PhD so that he could study the linguistics and be part of the team that has been interpreting these old, ancient, remaining astrological texts from their original languages. Well, there was something in that interpretation that we will talk about next week that was blow me away incredible. We have a light week next week, so we'll stretch it out to talk about a little bit of that, and I will tell you what he said. Also, if you have a question, shoot it to me. It's up at the top of the funastrology.com website. Now, what do the next several days have in store? Well, we're starting to throttle down, but we have to get through Sunday before we can take a real big collective sigh. Today, the moon enters Virgo. That's later this evening in Eastern Time, 8:25 p.m., If we go with my little thing from yesterday of asking for inspiration, intuition, prompts. Asking for hunches, prompts, right in the middle of something. Ooh, get a feeling. Invite that into our lives. And as I mentioned yesterday, with the moon moving into Virgo for the weekend, we would spend most of that asking or reflecting on or getting prompts around, thinking about where we are with our organizational structure, basically. Work, health, what in our life is a little sloppy that we need to tighten up or put some structure or order around. Put it out there, ask, see what you get back. Then tomorrow we have a big one. We have a really big one. Both of these happen very early. So in essence, we're almost, in fact, for those of you in two different time zones of the U.S., this will technically happen on Friday. First is Venus squaring Uranus. This will be the last of those Leo squares back to Taurus. There's nothing else behind Venus, so this is it. And in fact, we won't have anything coming behind it for quite some time. So this is the last square to Taurus from that side of the chart in forward zodiacal order. If we look backward, of course, we're going to be having the Saturn square the first part of October, and then those Taurus squares will basically be over until Mars moves out of Gemini and Cancer. So that will be several months. That will be later on in 2023. Venus squaring Uranus. Any surprises around your relationship? Sudden surprises, shock, or revolutionary changes around money? And remember, this is kind of interesting. You know, pronouns are big these days, and when you score pronouns in the chart, you think of Mars sitting there fairly close to it as male, and you think of Venus, that we just mentioned, as female. Well, Uranus is neutral. So when we attribute sudden changes, shock, etc., surprises with Uranus, we don't attribute good or bad. It's neutral. It's just there, and then we can bring it in and interpret it or apply it however we are on our own conscious path. And that's a wee little bit of a hint of what I'm going to talk about with Robert next week. Because with all of these things, the ultimate responsibility lies with us, not the chart. We surf the chart does not pull our strings. Does that make sense? So if you're going through one of those sudden changes around those Venusian areas of life, you get to choose how they are going to impact you in the future. That's a perfect segue into the next aspect, which happened. Oh, Venus was at 12:30 in the morning, 12:30 Eastern Time. So see, that's why I'm saying is that one you can back up. Only the Eastern U.S. time zone gets that one in Saturday. Everybody else has that one late Friday night. But at 1:30, that's Eastern Time, the Sun squares Mars. That's the one where you say, well, make sure the women and children are safe, bring in the animals, and go to bed early. Now, you know, based on what I'm just saying, I'm just kidding there. We make it what we want it to be. But Mars has been super powerful as it's been making this transit through Taurus, and it's certainly hit the door of Gemini with a bang as well, at least to me and our podcast family. So we will get some indications, but realize that all day today we're going to be in the applying energy of that. So just setting your intentions. And this is where I'm saying the bubble protection that we've been talking about, put yourself in safety. Be mindful, be conscious of what is going on, and don't be afraid to go a little bit overboard with your spiritual practice and extend it out as we get through these more challenging periods of time ahead. Really, we've got to be super game on at least into January. That's for sure. And I have a new little chroma key set up for doing video that I put together the other day, and I did the first TikTok video with that on the Sun-Mars square. If you'd like to hop over to TikTok and check that out, it's on Fun Astrology Podcast. Now, the other thing tomorrow, we can't forget about the new moon, right? The new moon is at 4:17 in the morning. So see, you've got to get up super early to experience all of these aspects and all these points in the sky. 4:17, and then it's like just a regular old day after that. But you have that wonderful new moon energy today. It's applying toward that, peaks probably before you get up on Saturday morning, and then you'll have the day to be in that energy for sure, that new moon in Virgo. You know, I'm thinking health, so you could create around health. And also jobs. I heard the other day that somebody said that on the one hand, jobs are being laid off. On the other hand, it's pretty easy to find a job. So maybe you need to do some creating around that. Use that new moon energy today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Create. And speaking of Sunday, this is in the afternoon, 2:27 in the afternoon. Venus in Leo opposes retrograde Saturn in Aquarius. Did we just mention something about relationships and money and home and stuff like that? So you've got Venus, Uranus tomorrow, Venus, Saturn on Saturday. Both of those could be a little scratchy, and the universe is giving you that sandpaper in order to polish off stuff that doesn't serve you anymore, to get things out of your life, to ride that tension to higher ground. And at least those peak and we'll be on the backside of them next week. So if you felt something over the last couple of weeks, I mean, this is a crescendo, but it's been building for sure. So the big takeaway is extra protection. I mean, that Sun-Venus category really rules or covers a lot of our life. So we are under some challenges around there, and just pick your direction. That's the whole message. We'll see if Ray Merriman comes up with a newsletter tomorrow. If not, we might make something work, or maybe I'll tell you about Robert Hand tomorrow, or we'll just kick it to Monday. But either way, we'll be back with our regular episode at least on Monday. Have a great day and a great weekend. We'll see you back. Bye-bye.